Here's a tweet to set the tone for today's video. Fire employees to save money, create new skin tier at abusive price to make more money, profit. Yes, business is that easy. Now this is rough PR for Riot, but it's also not a surprise. It's Riot Games, they're the very same company that did a $500 skin themed after the professional player Faker. And what you'll soon see in today's video is that if you are the person who looked at that 500 skin and immediately thought, that's obviously not for me, well, Riot are changing things. They do want to get you in, and this is what we are going to see across the industry. And with that Faker skin, yes, people were a bit pissed off, but for a taste of its potential, it generated $2.3 million in one single stream by Faker. So imagine what it generated across the entire event. But here's where the plot actually thickens a bit. The artist who is behind that skin lost their job. Yes, they lost their job, along with many other veterans at Riot, many of whom worked on skins. And then, just 24 hours later, we saw what's next for their monetization. An evolution of things. It is gacha, it's got the character of Jinx, and it's all themed around Arcane Season 2. And it's exactly the sort of business innovation that is there to solve the Western crisis in monetization. That problem where you hear $500 skin and you immediately know it's not for you. When you think about Overwatch adding $160 at least worth of mythic skins within a single season, you think that's not for me. People are growing tired of battle passes. They look at rotating stores and it's just bloat. So this is where the wind is blowing, and consider today's video defense against the dark arts. And at the end, I'll even reveal how I ended up dropping a substantial amount of money on a League of Legends related thing, but how it's different to this and why I don't regret it. We obviously have to start with the layoffs. 32 people are gone. That is small, but what raises the eyebrow is that these are high ROI individuals. I mean, one of those people designed the Faker skin that we know did real well. Here's Teresa. Over 4 to 5 years, she made 23 skins and outsource managed over 40 skins. That is, skins going out to tens of millions of players. It's a lot of money, and now she's gone. And reading the reveal and looking at Riot's framing, it's pretty clear. They're saying that work is not slowing, that the team size will increase to be larger than it is today, and that these cuts are about the right expertise, that they're not about cost savings. It was a funny title for the post that they made because it was called How We're Evolving League, but it didn't actually tell us how they were evolving League. It was just kind of fuzzy wording their way through saying, yeah, we laid off a bunch of people. I think what does show us how they're evolving League, though, is what they would reveal the very next day, and that it is something that will be staying. As for the layoffs themselves, we do not have a robust explanation. I would say they're likely overhauling their art pipeline, that somehow the model of having limited internal production bolstered by outsourcing is changing. And I've got to imagine it'll be in the direction of more outsourcing, especially if they want to bulk out a team to do hyper expensive skins, just like what we're going to talk about in just a minute. It's all stuff designed to reach into your brain and press little buttons, which is exactly what today's sponsor helps you against. You're actually now a daily habit. I wasted so much time doom scrolling Twitter and Reddit. Now I use Brilliant, and I have an amazing deal for you. Brilliant makes learning fun and interactive, where you actually learn by doing things across thousands of interactive lessons in maths, in data analysis, programming, and AI, and it's all on their gorgeous site and app. And they're not rote learning. Their method is 6 times more effective than lecture videos, which I can certainly feel from somebody who did lectures. You see, they are all about interactive quizzes. You can click on things, drag on things, build things. It's actually more like play, and every chance they get, they make a fun tactile visualization, which is a lot of work in their end, but it really pays off in your experience. And it basically means that concepts actually click because they're that tangible. And in today's mad world, I cannot recommend the data pathway highly enough. They've actually just relaunched it, and you'll learn how to parse, visualize, and understand data, and you'll do that with real numbers from Airbnb, Spotify, and Starbucks. You'll also learn how to just get probability intuitively. And this is all amazing stuff vocationally, but I actually prefer it more for just upgrading myself, right? Like getting those real life skills. And data is such a good one. I've always been pretty strong with data. It's just an intuition that I kind of honed. And I know it's just a life skill that I can't put a price on because it makes every little thing better when I'm moving through the earth. And even better, I can learn all this in the time that I usually would be doom scrolling Twitter. So I can't recommend Brilliant highly enough. My link, brilliant.org/Bellular News, gets you 30 days free and 20% off the annual plan. This is going to be fun. Riot are getting into the luxury goods market. Of course, Jinx is a popular character, Arcane Season 2 is almost here, and to celebrate, Riot have ascended their business tech tree. They've unlocked new methods. Exalted Jinx is the big new skin, and it is unbelievably cool. Yeah, straight up, it's awesome. 2 skins, 3 forms, all with matching VFX, SFX, and VO, and there are even altered HUD elements. It looks pretty damn incredible, and it is, by Riot's very words, a luxury product. Riot's blog post is remarkably honest. They actually admit that they thought about having a big set price for this skin, maybe $250, maybe $400, closer to the Faker skin. But they say they then thought about the people. Yeah, they thought about the little guy, they thought about us. And in doing that, they invented something new, the Sanctum. They say it's a sort of system popular across the world, but that they have made it better with changes. Yes, they're not using the word gacha, but they are absolutely talking about gacha. The JPEG you're looking at right now is an ancient spark. These never expire, and you can buy them for 400 Riot points. Now, their lack of expiry is notable here. It tells us that this is the new model for events going forward, that the gacha system is a codified thing. That's because if Riot sells you a whole bunch of these sparks, but then they don't do anything else that can use those sparks, well, yeah, they'd be in a pickle. So this will continue. Now, the Sanctum drops S, A, and B tier rewards. S tier, of course, means Exalted Jinx, and it's got a 0.5% drop rate. That's one that the gacha games community have certainly railed on. What they call SSRs, basically the big super rare thing that everybody wants, they tend to be more like 1.5 plus, of course also having a pity system. The A tier then contains skins, chromas, and that sort of thing, while the B tier has got Mythic Essence, which, look, don't close your eyes over, it is another currency, but what it does psychologically is really important. Now, there is a pity system. Exalted Jinx will be yours at 80 pulls, and as an overall way to engage the human brain, the specifics are exceptional. So here is how this harnesses evolutionary psychology. Information that you can use to your advantage, or perhaps just to defend yourself. Humans weigh negative outcomes more than we weigh positive ones, and a lack of surety in something, that creates anxiety. And that's of course why a pity system is great to increase revenue. It means that people at least feel like they're building towards something and they can't essentially go to zero. That's why that's smart, and that's why this thing's system of accrued pity, even beyond this event, is smart. And the same goes for the non-expiry of the sparks. Those are basically hitting a lot of psychological triggers that would prevent somebody from engaging in the first place. But the thing is, it actually gets better. How often have you played a video game and you've maybe unlocked a loot box or a reward of some sort that's random, and you've found that, yeah, there's some rare stuff you want, but it is just overweighed by sprays, icons, charms, and other junk that seems to only exist to make the rare things more rare. If you play live games, you'll experience that all the time. And that is the next big psychological win for Riot. The backup reward being Mythic Store currency is honestly kind of genius. That store has got previous event content, it's got things that feel rare, and it's not RNG. That means that your worst case scenario, a B tier reward, has you not getting unusable junk. So, in pursuing the thing that you want, say Jinx, you're getting a bunch of things that you also are guaranteed to want. That is smart, and it's all done while wielding the FOMO of a Jinx skin that never will be available again. And Riot very much say in their blog post that scarcity is where a lot of the value in something like this comes from, that the people who want hyper-exclusive skins want them because they're exclusive, and that means they cannot return. You see, the thing is, these companies do not focus on the value that they provide you. In free-to-play, they cannot think of that value. That's why YouTube is full of ads. It's why Shorts is just in its own app. It's not about your experience, it's about what makes the number go up. If game developers cannot sell you a game, then the organizational focus of their business has got to turn toward how they can earn. You know, what gets measured gets managed. Battle passes and traditional storefronts are working less and less. We've seen more and more of them. We're just kind of numb to them. And when we see a $500 Faker bundle, we get sticker shock, we get angry, there's bad PR. The thing is, perceptions of price and value are fluid, and that is exactly what the monetization designers want. Let's talk about money. 32,000 Riot points is enough to have a 100% chance of Jinx because you will invoke the pity system. That pity system being the worst case scenario. The question then is, how much do you pay to get there? Because you could buy 2 $100 packs and a $50 pack of Riot points. That would be the way to buy that quantity of RP with the least amount of dollars. That's not the cheapest way to get a skin, because there's randomness. If you're lucky, you'll get it cheaper. The most efficient way, you may think, is to edge your way through the system, spark by spark, buying small bundle by small bundle, hoping that Lady Luck shines upon you. But if you do that, the Riot points that you're spending will have been purchased at a premium. In $100 stacks, 400 Riot points costs you $2.93, but purchased at the worst value in the $5 bundles, well, 400 Riot points cost you $3.47. So the question is, which way will you go? Either way, Riot of course wins, and the big point here is that anybody can have a shot at that skin, whereas with the Faker one, you literally didn't have a shot if you did not have the money. But this is not just something that is for the people, that exists because they don't want to sell a super expensive item only to people who have got a lot of money. No, if you've got a lot of money, this is potentially far, far, far more dangerous, and not just because it can hook into some gambling psychology. This is where it gets deeper. It's very well known that the best whaling systems allow for functionally infinite spending, and that's where the genius of a feel-good B-tier reward being Mythic Essence actually is. Now that Mythic Essence is of an actual value, and it will go towards something that you choose. It won't just be a junk spray or player icon. And where it's extra powerful is that Mythic Essence is usually earned through leveling, event passes, chests, and masterwork milestones, things that can often require effort. But with a system like this, yeah, you can technically just buy as much as you want, which may sound insane. Who's going to do that? But it only takes a few. All the way back in and around 2012, 2013, one player spent $14,000 on Mass Effect 3 loot boxes. And that was back then, when this stuff was a bit newer. Some mobile games have actually got localized versions targeted at Saudi oil money because the whaling is just that powerful. Now, you may think of the top 0.5% and think, well, I don't see any of those people, I don't know any of those people, they're a secret cabal. That's not true. Just in the US, 0.5% is going to be millions of people. They play games just like we do. And if you're Riot, you would be a fool to ignore them. Say this video gets 100,000 views. Even though whaling numbers can be as high as 2%, let's say it's only 0.5%. That's 500 people. Let's say that those 500 people all spend $250 and they get the skin. That's $125,000. And that is not counting the Giga Whales, who can just buy Mythic Essence, and more Mythic Essence to get everything in that store. And so now, fully understanding how the system works, we see how, yeah, it is in a way more player-friendly. It is sort of less exclusive. Anybody can get hooked in this train, and they're not going to give you some rubbish spray like they maybe did in Overwatch back in the day, and that stuff's great. But we can also see how it is so much more psychologically potent, perhaps especially to the whales. Now, as a point of contrast, I said that I spent a stupid amount of money on a Riot thing. It's the collector's edition Arcane art book. I did not need to do that. It was absolutely a stupid moment of weakness. But Fortitia's work in Arcane is genuinely breakthrough. That is an art book that I know I will look at, that I know I will learn lessons from. And it doesn't hurt that the other merch looks pretty damn good too. I mean, it was a stupid quantity of money, but it is a real product. It's something that can't be taken away from me. It will go in my bookshelf. It will be there. I will read it with my hands. It's physical. And of course, there's emotional value. I was in a rough spot whenever Arcane released, and it hit me pretty good. It all brings up a question then. How do you define value? Does my amount of money on a real physical product seem more or less insane than a big expensive skin in a game? It's all about value and how we define it. And what pisses me off is the kickback that I got in a recent video on Overwatch. I was criticizing the pricing of skins, how scummy it was, and people were saying, bro, why do you even care? You're just farming outrage. They're not forcing you to buy them. To which I say, if you're my age, you're foolish. If you're younger than me, well, I suppose you weren't there, so you just wouldn't understand. The thing is, back in the day, we paid money for content, right? We paid for our games, and adjusted for inflation, our games were more expensive than they are today, but we were far happier. You see now, attention, effort, marketing, It goes into those $100 skins that are designed for whales and all of that stupid stuff, while the core games are left the bare minimum they need to be to support those purchases. It is all about incentives. If you earn money by selling people skins, then skins will be the thing you optimize around. If you make money by selling people content, then content will be the thing that you optimize around. This stuff goddamn matters. To know more, watch this video next.